I won't be president. I say, you ain't seen nothing yet. Oh yeah.
Hello, my name is Megan Hanson and I am running to be your president. Lately, there have been many issues concerning the political, social, and economic well-being of this country. As your president, I promise to carry out the policies set forth in this speech and work towards improving our country as a whole. I would like to start out by saying that my campaign is based on views that are very important to me. However, I will not be afraid to step outside of my personal views to do what is best for this country. The first issue I would like to discuss is debt in the economy. In order to reduce the national deficit, we must take certain measures when it comes to spending and taxes. As a government, we must work on cutting spending across the board and start working towards lowering the debt. Our current government is very strong and exerting great power over the people. Lowering taxes across the board will lessen the current economic burdens on you, the people. Taxes will also be lowered on businesses. Lowering taxes will create jobs for those struggling with unemployment and seriously diminish the current unemployment situation. Economic issues are not the only matter plaguing the nation at this time. Controversial topics such as healthcare, abortion, and Social Security are extremely important to my campaign, and I will find a solution to each if elected as president. In regards to healthcare, I believe that public healthcare is outright unconstitutional. Each person should get what they pay for. The government should not have to pay for those who cannot obtain health care from employers, independent companies, or Medicaid. There are plenty of other opportunities for everybody out there. There is nowhere in the Constitution that states the government has the authority to pay for everybody's health care. Therefore, we should not be spending any more money than we already have in order to cover something that we do not have the power to control. The abortion debate has had many questioning the moral as well as the economic aspects of this country. I am a pro-choice advocate. A woman has a right to her own body and therefore can make her own decisions without the government restricting her. Since the government will not be restricting a woman's right to her own body, the government should not pay for an abortion procedure, no matter how early the pregnancy. On the topic of Social Security, personalization is key to an effective system. The government can control it, but the people have the ultimate say in what the money is spent on. By accumulating different views on Social Security, we can appropriate funds to specific needs and strengthen the program altogether. Continuing on the topic of social programs, I do not believe cutting funding in welfare and education is the answer to our problems. I strongly support welfare programs such as EBT food stamps. However, I do not support taxing at a higher rate in order to fund these programs. I feel that there is enough funding going into these programs, but it is a way that it is spent needs to be looked at and reformed. We must ensure that these programs are being used appropriately and not being abused. In terms of education, it is one of the most important assets to our country, and by cutting funding, we may lose opportunities that are desperately needed. By continuing support in America's education system, it will lead to many bright futures. Beyond the homeland, I would like to discuss things outside of our home soil. I am very excited about immigrants and what they will bring to this country. However, before they can become citizens, we cannot grant them the same rights as Americans. We have tremendous amount of freedom allotted to Americans, making America a very desirable country. Therefore, those rights should be granted to legal Americans. It is important to give jobs and resources to Americans, and once immigrants become naturalized, they can then partake in those rights. Until then, I can only hope that new immigrants take the proper steps in becoming part of this great nation. In protecting this country, I am a strong advocate to giving Americans the privacy that they deserve. I feel that random searches will not accomplish anything and is not an effective method in homeland security. In order to protect this country effectively, I feel that we must use non-invasive methods. This way, we are working together as a smart country that we are. Economically, I feel that we must invest the money that we do have in our own country. Although aiding and supporting other countries is beneficial, we must cut down on providing foreign aid. Our domestic priorities must trump those of our foreign allies. We must recognize that our current social and economic problems take priority over the environmental issues. I do not consider environmental change to be a primary issue for my candidacy. However, this does not mean that we can ignore environmental issues. We must direct our attention towards a new energy alternative. One alternative source of energy I support is nuclear energy. Uranium, the source of nuclear energy, is plentiful and cheaper than oil. Once processed correctly, nuclear energy can be used for many of the current purposes oil is used for. By finding alternative sources to oil, we will significantly decrease our reliance on foreign nations and all the social, political, and economic problems that result thereof. Every day I wake up to see media headlines showing the worsening crime situation in America. As your president, I will do everything in my power to improve the crime situation that is destroying America. Firearms are one of, if not the main cause of violence in this country. We already have significant laws in this nation tightening the ability to own firearms. We must enforce these laws more strictly. Another controversial topic is capital punishment. I oppose the death penalty. The Constitution protects all life as equal. One of the most controversial issues in our country is marijuana. We will pass legalization to make marijuana legal. However, there will be some restrictions on the drugs, such as setting a minimum age to use it. Recall the Prohibition Act of the 1920s. People thought that by making alcohol illegal, crime would decrease. However, the result was heavily organized crime and much violence. By legalizing marijuana, we can eliminate many of the problems that result from illegal use of marijuana. I hope you all take into consideration everything I have put forth to you today. I stand strongly behind my beliefs, and I am a strong, independent leader. I want the best for this great nation. So vote Megan Hanson in the July 25th election. Thank you for your time, and God bless America.